ES Audio.
Hello, I'm Mark Blunden, and this is the Evening Standard's Tech and Science Daily. Coming up, the woman who feels no pain. But first, artificial intelligence-powered drone wars sound like a Star Wars installment, but now Elon Musk is warning about the very real risk on battlefields of the future.
Future wars between advanced countries, or at least countries that have significant drone capability, will be very much the drone wars.
That's the SpaceX, Tesla and Twitter tycoon beaming into the annual Wall Street Journal's CEO Council Summit in London.
I expect the first uses of AI to be, or certainly the first government uses of AI to be weapons technology. So just having more advanced weapons on the battlefield that can react faster than any human could. That's really what AI will be capable of.
But it's not just risk to life and limb on the battlefield where danger lies.
The pen is mightier than the sword, so one of the first places we have to be careful of AI being used is in social media to manipulate public opinion.
It comes after the White House said it would ask workers how their employers use artificial intelligence to monitor them, as it gives federal investments for the technology, which is expected to change the nature of work. Next, Sir Branson Virgin Orbit has announced it's selling the firm's assets and will cease operations months after mission failure here in the UK. In a statement, the rocket company says its unwavering commitment to advancing the frontiers of air launch have left an indelible mark on the industry. But the firm's Launcher 1 failed to reach orbit, and it saw its payload of US and UK intelligence satellites plunge into the ocean. Now, the California-based business, which in September had debts of £123 million, will sell its assets to 4 winning bidders. Now, scientists have uncovered how a woman's rare genetic mutation allows her to live her life almost pain-free and never feel anxious or afraid. Experts from UCL found how mutations in the genes at molecular level enable Joe Cameron, who's from Scotland, not to experience pain and even heal faster. Researchers said the findings published in the journal Brain herald new drugs research for pain management and wound healing. Cameron found out about the condition when she was 65 after seeking treatment for an issue with her hip, which turned out to involve severe joint degeneration despite the fact she'd experienced no pain. The rare ghost orchid is being showcased in a special display at Chelsea Flower Show, thanks to botanists at Kew Gardens. So what does it look like?
The ghost orchid is a leafless orchid, and therefore it's only a mass of roots. It's basically a rosette, but it's only roots. And it's only roots because that orchid photosynthesizes through them.
That's Arnau Ribera Tort, botanical horticulturist at London's Kew Gardens, which has created an orchid conservation display at this year's show, and he explains the risk to global orchid populations.
Orchids face several threats. One of them is overcollection, either for like traditional medicine or for even food. In certain parts of the world, orchids are consumed and they are directly taken from the wild.
Kew's own orchid collection contains around 8,000 plants, but how do you ensure yours at home lives longer?
It's important not to overwater it, but after flowering, when it loses the spike, people shouldn't despair, because the next winter, with the slightly lower temperatures during the night, the plant will be triggered to bloom again. So it's important for these plants to have slightly cooler nights during winter to trigger this flowering.
Next, Netflix has begun its crackdown on customers sharing a password for their account, and it's sending emails to reprimand those allowing logins to be used by people outside of their home. The streaming giant says it's sending warnings to customers in over 100 countries, reminding them about its one account per household rule. Amid the firm's market saturation concerns, they're tracking IP addresses and device IDs to work out who's trying to get around the rules, but it's unclear what sanctions will be taken against rogue users. Netflix previously said it was comfortable with customers sharing their passwords, with the company making a joke on Twitter in 2017 that said, "Love is sharing a password." Well, how times have changed. Let's go to the ads. Stay there for more news from the world of tech and science. Plus, thank Crunchie, it's Sun Day, yes, with an awesome close-up of honeycomb solar pics. Welcome back. Research by the Universities of Glasgow and Cardiff found male characters in role-playing video games such as Final Fantasy and Skyrim have 50% more dialogue than female characters, highlighting a stark gender imbalance in the gaming genre. They analysed dialogue from 50 RPGs released between 1986 and 2020 and over 6 million words spoken by 13,000 characters. The results published in the journal Royal Society Open Science suggest 94% of the games studied had more male dialogue than female dialogue, even including titles with multiple female protagonists such as Final Fantasy X2 or King's Quest VII. Next, Amazon's Alexa has been trained to offer better advice on periods. The virtual assistant can now answer a series of detailed questions on periods by using information from the Freedom for Girls charity, whose guides have been informed by British teenagers, plus existing NHS online content. Almost 2/3 of teens surveyed said having easier access to information around periods would make them more comfortable having female health conversations within their family. And finally, some awesome images of the sun like you've never seen it before have been released by the National Science Foundation, and strangely they make the solar surface look very tasty indeed. Images from the world's most powerful solar spyglass, the Daniel K. Inouye Solar Telescope in Hawaii, which shows bubbling sunspots that are larger than Earth. The Foundation says capturing such unprecedented detail helps solar scientists better understand the sun's magnetic field and what causes solar storms. You are up to date. Come back at 4 p.m. for the Leader podcast for the latest news, interviews and analysis from the Evening Standard here in London, and we'll be back tomorrow at 1 p.m. See you then.